shall we jump into it? There we go. Okay, I'm guessing this is the score. Only one way to find out, right? Let's take a look and see if it updated it on our navigation stuff. Yeah, okay. All right, so let's jump into it. This is, of course, the Alpha Navigator Cup event spawning up here in the north, representing the red Celestial player. Currently up 1-0 in this best of 5. It is GameFriend. And I will update what their factions are momentarily, y'all. But spawning in the south, it is our blue Infernal player. Representing the 3D clan, he is Garnath. So let's update it because Garnath is Infernal, but Celestial is on the left. There we go. All right, so you have played or watched Stormgate enough, you know it's creep mode. We're in creeping time. We're sitting here and playing the defensive, safe, in-base style of play as a Celestial player because if you go out and start early expanding and doing stuff like that, you're susceptible to things like fiends, and it gets dangerous. And look at this. Argent running back home, trying to stay alive, getting the pot shots. Will get powered up there, so he at least gets to do some more damage, but does get the surround there. And look at this. Can't run, can't do anything, but the Sovereign's Watch helping out. Will clean up most of the fiends. Does get them all. Okay. Trades 4 fiends for a Argent. Kind of what you would expect to see here, but in the meantime we got the double iron vault allowing the creeping to take place using the meat farm over here on Garnath's side, so at least able to kind of help him out. On the mean side we've got the Hexen still being annoying, utilizing the fiend. He can of course heal himself up with that healing flower, help get that Hexen back up, and the mean then the Conclave going in because we know we need those gaunts. If you're playing Infernal, you better learn how to use them. But Kree is the name of the game when you are on the Celestial side because the Kree deal that extra damage. They when they kind of roll their way on over and set themselves up to start slicing and dicing through your opponent, right? And then does that, of course, explosion turns itself into a bomb with the fatal damage. And this guy's getting beat up a little bit there. Some fiends coming in. Trying to get the scout. Try to get the information. Goes, okay, you're not expanding at least. I don't have to worry about that. But that's a big force coming across. Will he be able to creep up and get this? This Kree is going to be sniped. So he's going to deal as much damage. But look, another Kree is going to roll his way over here, and he's going to catch the rest of this army, sees that, and will have to be trying to find an angle to get some last hits in and try to get out of there the best he can. There he goes, rolling on out. More and more Kree coming in. We got 3 of them now. So you really need this kind of the Kree structure to help you deal with, you know, the Hexen, help you deal with the Fiends, help you deal with the Gauns. They don't do very well against these brutes, but that's okay. All right. Allowed to be out on the map, creeping up. We're building up our resources so we could drop it down, get our expansion. In the meantime, the Kree coming on over, rolling their way in here, seeing how much extra damage they can do. So we're going to be able to get some slicing and then roll out. Basically, get some hits, hit and run, especially now that we're starting to get the upgrades. You know, we're able to start doing this, get that extra movement speed. Works out pretty nicely. And now we're healing up, getting ourselves ready here. This is kind of this back and forth hit and run. This indication here, once this gets taken and we know where our opponent is, we can kind of feel safe and start taking over our side of the map. So let's get out there. Let's start taking our own creep camps because remember, every time you're taking these units, you're going to be getting additional resources. Keep an eye over here as these players are going to get a little skyrocket and bonus XP in the form of income here. Boom, takes them all out. And then if you've got stuff like this, Therium Towers, you get even more bonus here. But look at this, more Fiends coming in here as the expansion gets scouted and confirmed. But this, you know, we're in that stage that we know that would be an expansion coming out here. So things are working out very nicely in that regard for our Infernal player to continue to have all the map control he wants. And he's going to be trying to work his way to the center here So we need a Fiend or somebody to come and gobble this tree line up because we don't have any Magmadons yet. That will be kind of the next stages here. As you can see, one is slowly waddling his way on over here. Over there for our Celestial player. Continuing up with our own creeping style as we start to secure our natural expansion. Great control with the Kree, kind of pulling him in, pulling him back. Even finds the flower in the process there. So we will be able to slice and dice our way through and take this over. But again, you can see when towers are being taken. And he can see that the Luminite tower in the center is now under the control of our Infernal player, Garnath. One Kree will be sacrificed in the process here. That's okay. Oh, are we going for it? Okay, we're already going to go try to get our third base up and running. You'll start to see these power banks start to build up on this pathway here as this kind of becomes our location that we need to worry about. But look at this. Good reaction, moving away, sees the army that we're fighting down right now and goes, this is not the time to be trying to take that third base as much as I want to. I can't afford to do it. It's too dangerous. So we're going to try to go into our safer pocket expansion over here and try to take that. In the meantime, Kree going to get in here, take over this expansion, or take over this, but actually rolling on through, going right to the natural where they know that it's vulnerable. Are we going to go for like a base race style of scenario here where we're going to try to hit as much damage as possible? The Arc Station is vulnerable out there. The Gaunt's taking some damage on there, but look at this natural expansion. Going to be taking a lot and tries to catch him with the infest ability. Does not get it. So now the Kree are rolling into the base, and look at the amount of imps are in danger. Look at them shredded, sliced, and diced their way through. So that means that we're going to be seeing a response over here. But look at this. Nice defense. The blast nodes, we've talked about that kind of AoE blast that they get to do is huge. And we'll start shredding through the amount of brutes, dealing all this extra damage around here. On the meantime, we are going to be seeing the Magmadon spawn out to try to defend against this. But so many workers have gone down. How is he going to recover from this situation? And Kree are in detonation mode, will be adding some extra bonus damage. He really wants to get them in a spot where they can be able to explode up near the imps, but it's not going to be happening as much as he wants. But look at, even more imps are going down. Are there any left here? We've got two. Two over here and just a handful over here. What, 5 or 6? But that was a lot of damage. The natural, though, is in trouble. The blast nodes did a lot of work. Sovereign Watch coming down here to try to defend. The center location will be secured, but we're losing the natural in the process here. So very tough position to be in. There's the Magmadon coming in here. That's the danger that we were worried about here. Some explosions happening, but not enough to really deal the damage that we want. So the Kree rolling back, but we lost our natural in the process. Was it enough? Do we have any other way to help out here? But look, he's getting in here. He's jumping on top of the Gaunt and trying to hold off the best he can up inside the main base. More Kree are rolling out here, but that's not a lot of fighting force, especially as the Magmadons are here. So he will try to reposition, roll on back in there, and try to rely on the power banks to help him out. Try to rely on Sovereign Watch to hold off, but this is it. You were able to come in, you dealt significant economic damage, but if you don't have enough to deal with the army, you're going to be in trouble. All right, one Magmadon is going to be so hard to deal with. The amount of fiends that are here is going to be able to block and get in on top of this army. Here comes the brutes getting around there, start to wail on things. The Gaunts are shredding there. We do have one scythe about to pop out here. Will it be out in time as more Gaunts getting added to the mix here? Basically, any little bit of resources is just going into an army here as he's going to be taking over this location here. The Infernal host is swarming in and dealing so much damage. So one scythe up in the air trying for that air superiority, but it is not going to be enough. GG is called. And we get to see a nice little tie. The series is tied up. Very nice. Very cool. We'd like to see that. I mean, I like the decision of going for the Kree so early. We kind of were able to get in there, dealt a lot of damage. It all worked out very well, but it wasn't enough for us to, you know, continue up. As the build up of army count got higher and higher. Yes, you might deal economic damage, but if you don't have the army to defend your own natural, defend your own base, you're just going to get run over. And just the Gaunts being able to continue to provide additional army through the Fiend creation, it makes it really tough. Once that Magmadon came out, we knew that that was going to be the end of any aggression. But if he was able to have a decent defense back home, then that would have worked out great. But sometimes you get these trades going where you're like, okay, let's try to make the choice. Is this enough of a trade? And players are still trying to figure it out. In that case, we did not see enough economic trade for an army trade, right? Because the army still existed in that sort of base trade. We could not really follow through and finish that sort of mindset that we were committed to. So we're going to see, now that it's tied up 1-1, what happens in game number 3. As both players are loading in, we're going into a Lost Hope. All right, nice big map. We've seen how well GameFriend does given the chance to be able to just kind of take over the map and expand and really rely on all the expansions to do it. But we've got spawning up here, tying the series up 1-1. In this best of 5, it is our Infernal player. Representing 3D Clan, he is Garnath. And we see him, of course, sending the scouts out because you could spawn in the cross-spawn location. You could be spawning vertically. We see spawning down here in the south. It is our blue Celestial player, known as GameFriend. Doing the same sort of creeping up that he has been known to do, utilizing that Sovereign's Watch to deal as much damage as possible as he starts to build up. We can get away with this early expansion on this map. We've talked about it before. If you're not familiar with it, we will be able to go over it a little bit. It is an easy to take natural expansion location. There is this tucked away safe third base that you've got. Gives you access to Luminite and Therium. And then you have this potential fourth base. In this case, it's very dangerous. But what's really dangerous is this early aggression. The Morph Core is coming out here. How well can he do it? He's going to watch and see that creep camp that he really wanted get taken out. And where's the army? There is the creation chamber being finished, and we're going right in trying to take out that power bank. If you can take those out, you're in a great spot because that is that additional energy that you need to help power up your Argents, help protect and power up your other units. So very, very tough. Plus, you know, power bank gives you the power to make sure your buildings are in, has that surge, allows them to be able to train their units faster. Next creation chamber, you're going super SimCity mode, and now we're going to be able to get in here, use the Morph Core to try to help us out here. But look at this, just runs and bypasses this army, says, I'm going to go right for this prison, I'm going right for this collection array. Will it force him to lift it off? We're going to watch and see how he responds to this. He knows if he goes in to try to defend this, it's not going to work out so well. So he goes, okay, I'll wait. Let's lift it off. We'll send the prism away as I continue to build up, because he has to be in this kind of like utilize his buildings in the SimCity mode to help him. If he goes in without it and just kind of goes out, he gets surrounded, and you know the fiends just eat his entire army. But look at this, Morph Core on a mission. Collection array coming down, getting set up. The fiends are going to utilize their speed, utilize their map presence, and start going out on the map. This is the play that I like to do when I'm on this map. As an Infernal player, I like to take the tuck back expansion. It gives me access to the not only Luminite, but the Therium, and the extra Therium is very important for getting up a higher Gaunt count. I can always take this as my third base because you easily get to kind of block in and set yourself up here. Fiends are ready to pounce, and here they come. There is the collection array. Try to get set up again, and it is not going to get set up the way that he wants. He can send a few units if he wants to. I'm going to utilize the arc ship to help him out here to help mine. Link node is there, but will get cleaned up. So this is that like annoyance of going, okay, I'm trying to get my bases up, but I cannot actively do it with the fiends coming in here, and now he's going to come over here and try to attack this and see if there's something over here. Nothing over there. The Morph Core is ready though. More and more army getting built up for Garnath here. He's setting himself up More brutes, more fiends is the name of the game. We're going to keep the pressure on, but this is a really tight position to try to push into. All right. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you coming in and doing the raid. We're casting up some Alpha Navigator Cups. Hope things are going well for you today. But yeah, we've got an amazing, amazing game going on here. This is best of 5 taking place between GameFriend and Garnath. The winner moves on to the major finals next week here. But GameFriend's got this great little SimCity positioning here, tucked in, like really, really smart. You can see just creating this pathway for all of his Argents to protect. He does need to come over here and send a few to clean this up, and that's what he's going to do. Now, that's going to give that notice and information here for Garnath to be able to come in and pounce and try to be able to get in and make something happen. We'll see if that is the case here. No. There he goes, and he's going to go for the pounce. He's going to go try to take out these 2 remaining Argents that are out. We'll see how much damage can get done. They will get taken out in the process here if the rest of the army comes in, but no, they were sent away, but there's still lots of fiends. 1 Argent goes down. The second one will go down too. That's part of the dangers of just getting surrounded here. And this is that thing of I just want to mine. I want to be able to have my 2 bases up, and it's 1 base versus 2 now. And look at how powerful this economy is. It's going to be skyrocketing up with this natural take and all of this additional resources that are coming from being able to get out on the map and creep, something that our Celestial player has been unable to do. He's been unable to secure his base with the fact that these fiends just live here now. Now, this is going to be helping out, but it's really, really frustrating if you're trying to be able to secure this base and do this. But the fact that he has this turtled up position, he's not worried about dying. He's annoyed. Oh my gosh, I can't really deal with taking my main base back up at the moment. But once he gets up to the next stages here, he'll feel comfortable enough to be able to progress there. He can't move out on the map, though. That's another thing that we've been talking about, is just the additional creeping, the additional resources. So you can watch as Garnath's income gets these spikes, these skyrockets every time that he kills one of these creep units. And he's going to be taking over basically all of the creep. And that's something that GameFriend can be able to see and identify. But now this is the kind of clear up. Fiend's going to run back, and they will get in here and they'll get the scout off and confirm this too. And knows, oh, you have 3 bases. I thought I was keeping you on 1 base this whole time, but no, you've had an expansion this entire time. But look at the red just movement on the mini map right there. Like, you can see just this rush back and forth, this setup. This army is huge. The Magmadons are going to be the big problem in this next push that we're going to be seeing. But for the time being, Garnath taking advantage of all of this freedom that he's got to get out on the map, clean everything up, and tech up to his heart's desire, and not really have to worry about it. But now we get to see a little bit of movement for GameFriend. As long as he doesn't go out and get sniped somewhere, he'll be okay for transitioning to these next stages. But we're going to have to see, when does he start adding the Kree into the army here to help him out against these Gaunts? When does he start teching up into the Scythe that he likes to go for with the flying units? And we're starting to see it. The Starforge getting added in, a Legion Fall getting added in, so we're going to start seeing that transition into the higher tech units. But look at this. Look at this Fiend hiding in this perfect spot. It's just inside that window, so he will be able to secure this location as well. And look at this. He says, "Where are you? How are you doing this?" He will be able to find it, though. Bam. Snipes that guy off. But that's another confirmation about where the army is. Every time you see where the towers change hands, you get that confirmation here. Magmadon's going to clear up, create another pathway. Basically, you want as many pathways to help to protect and be aggressive towards your opponent. So we're going to be seeing this kind of movement out. This is going to be kind of trying to find the angle, and he knows he's got to be scrambling there. Oh, there it is. Okay. We see the next transition here. We're going to be getting access to the black hole from the Anomancers. Try to provide additional slow, additional damage here. This is something that we've been seeing GameFriend utilize all day. It's really relying on those spellcasters to help him out. First Scythe is out, and we'll be kind of trying to find an angle to get in here and deal some damage. Needs it with his army, though. Oh, here we go. There's the next big tech up there, the Hellborns. They have a shotgun blast that they start to throw and drop down at the enemies there. So we're going to be watching and seeing just how much extra splash damage this army has been able to create here. Third base is up and running, and things are set up. We are going to be taking over the center, taking over more of the bases, and really powering up here. Now, previously, we've been able to see Celestial players just swarm over and take over their side of the map. If things are left uncontested and they can really power up their economy the longer the game goes, then they can start expanding over to the left and take over these bases. But this army is going to be pretty scary. We'll see how well it works, as this is the confirmation. Hey, the scythe is going to come in. We might be able to trap the army here. Oh, he snuck in. This base is now forfeit. Look at this. Destroys the trees, utilizing the Magmadons, and now this is destroyed. In the meantime, Shadow Flyers are coming in and going right for all of the prisms. That's their whole job. They get to be like Scourge and fly in there and start sniping out, taking out the economy of the Celestial player. But look at this big power up here. Dark Holes coming over here on the right-hand side, dealing a lot of damage. There's the Infest coming out here, but the army is still left alive. The amount of damage from the Hellborns is a lot, but where is the rest of the Infernal army? Some of it is sneaking into the main base. Is it enough? Yes, you took out this base, but where is your army? Now he's got to do that retreat, the scramble back. We've seen this position before on this map as a Celestial player, where you just go, okay, I turtle up as long as possible, and then when it comes down to the actual fight, I win the fight, and now I have control and can start moving out on the map and start taking over different things, take over the different camps. But he's got to be careful getting too far out there for this expansion, because here is the rest of the army. Now, Strike Node's helping out here. Fiend's going to come in here and try to be annoying. How well is he going to be able to respond to this? It's like, we're just going to get some free power banks. We'll take those. There's the next set of Shadow Flyers. This is that annoyance, the dive bomb tactic here. I'm going to send these guys in, and my whole goal is to be able to take out your prisms. If you're not paying attention, your economy is just going to be in shambles out of nowhere. Nice little Strike Node, but we will be able to take out 2 prisms for 5. Not bad, not bad. We'll trade those off. I mean, you could just easily just continue to kind of build up next wave, send them in. And here we go, moving out. We've gotten kind of control of the bottom right. Upper right still in control. We've got our 4th base up as an Infernal player here. Garnath setting himself up to continue to take advantage of his mobility on the top side of the map. But the army is not as powerful as you want. Brutes is not really where you want to be, but you have to kind of dump that extra resources into a supply. Right? We need Magmadons. We need those Hellborns here. But this is the danger part. The amount of Anomancers that are in this army, the amount of Scythes that are in this army. There, already, boom. Black Holes coming out here, shredding through this. This base is now destroyed. And look how slow they go. That's the downside to having Brutes added to the army. And this is why you never want to be fighting GameFriend on this map. He's kind of mastered this turtled up style of play, utilizes spellcasters to the best of his ability here, and really powering them up for that fight. Now, you got to see some Hellborn Blasts coming in there, trying to deal some shotgun hits, and did pretty good here, but it wasn't enough to actually take out this army. So now, for the first time, GameFriend has decided to move across the map. We'll see. Keep an eye on these Black Holes as they shred through, deal so much damage, slow down the army, and it pretty much gets wiped out before it gets close to the Celestial army. All of these Argents still left alive, and now we can move forward. There's a Magmadon, but can you reach it if you're stuck in a black hole? I don't think so. Bam, bam, bam. We're knocking at the front door. Let me in. I'm taking you out of this game. We saw Garnath's supply plummet. This is one of these maps that I never want to be fighting a Celestial on as an Infernal player, because now you're in the scramble mode that you have said, okay, I've given up on the map presence now. I have a lot of bases. I'm going to utilize my resources and my economy the best that I can. Oh, he didn't know about this pathway. That's why these Fiends are immediately coming over here. We're going to get in and try to find a sneaky route in, see if we can make something happen, but we're in that. Okay, let's utilize our resources the best way we can, and we're going to go in, take over this. Let's see what you've got. Got anything over here? Are you having an expansion, right? Look at this sneak in here. We're going to go for it, but we've already got another base up over here, so we're not as worried about it. There's the liftoff, protect the collection array, and we're ready with this army. I mean, you send a couple of troops here to help deal with this. This is going to be annoying, right? We've seen it time and time again. Something that you should be doing if you're an Infernal player. Utilize your Fiends. Pop some of those Brutes. They're less useful in the army. We saw just how useless they are. Trying to walk through a black hole, it's not going to be good. But we'll catch the other ones right here as the army comes back on over. I love seeing the Shadow Flyer harassment, but we can't really afford to do it. Our economy is hurting as Garnath. We're trying to get everything set up with our next couple bases. You can see, yeah, this is just all in. We got to get that Therium set up and use it for those higher tech units, right? That's the kind of downside of going, well, I've got so much Luminite. What can I do with this? And now we're kind of being able to build up more and more Hellborns. They are like siege units. Sit back, lobbing bombs at your opponent with a little shotgun blast that deals damage behind it. Very nice, very useful in the actual engagement time. The Gaunts having their infest, having their speed is really helpful, really useful. But this is not what you want to be fighting against. We can't get close to the Animancer is the problem, right? It's very, very tough. They deal a lot of damage. The black hole's just stopping us, slowing us down. We need a way to kind of break that. And I keep saying I want to see more Weavers against this type of army composition. It's risky, but like if you can get them in there, and be able to start creeping your way forward, it'll be all right. You can pull them, but getting them close enough to do that is not going to be, oh my gosh, not going to be ideal. That path that he cleaned up now just set things up. This is the same way that GameFriend won his game earlier today. He gets in here, gets on top of the main base, and you're going to see him get those Argents over there to the front and start blocking those down. Oh, trying to snipe the Shadow Flyers. This is nice. This is what I would love to see. A Harbinger getting added to the mix here to try to find a way to get behind the army and get him in. He wasn't able to get in as close as he wants, but there's the black holes coming in. The Hellborns are blocked up at the front there, and let's see. Do we get anything in there? No, nothing in the Harbingers, but that's okay yet. We're dropping down the extra little bit of Shroud. Makes a difference here. Magmadon's coming forward here. Hellborn's raining fire from the back here, but the army is still not in as much position as he wants, especially because look at all those. Oh my gosh, losing so many spellcasters in this process. Animancers now scrambling to run back. Oh, all right. Siege units of our own. Sabers getting added to the mix, but we're in the scramble. We're trying to be able to run back. That's the difference here when you get the Magmadons on top of the Animancers. It is a channel ability. They got to stand still in order to be able to use those black holes. If the Magmadons get on top of it, this army crumbles. How well can GameFriend be able to respond to this? We see taking out some of those Magmadons, but 3 of them are still alive up at the front. Here comes 2 more stampeding their way forward here, trying things out. There is a Scythe in here still dealing damage. Look at these Scythes in the back here. It's going to start picking things off, but slowing things down. We got a trickle of red as things get stabilized here. Will it be enough to kind of close out the game here? These are some big, heavy, beefy, high-tech units. Part of the way that Garnath has been able to utilize this is by getting such a strong economy, but this base is kind of our saving point. Let's get over here. Let's restabilize, get this area secured to make sure our opponent doesn't come take this out. Yeah, we have to lose this 3rd base here. It sucks. Or 4th base, if you will. Out of 5, I mean, we're going to lose it. Yes, it sucks, but we have to get this scramble. We've got to get ready for the next stage. Magmadons are the danger count and unit that we got to worry about. Their stampede ability just is able to kind of get through and destroy a lot of our units. Really, it's the Gaunts and the Hellborns here that are the damage dealers, right? Gaunts, very fast, very mobile. They are able to infest things, turn those into fiends. Hellborns have their AoE damage that we're worried about, so things are tough. I don't think that GameFriend has identified that there are bases up here, though. He was kind of saying, okay, I feel like you're stuck in this pocket. This was the main difference between the match that we watched earlier and to now, is the amount of bases that our Infernal player has gotten up to. But there's so much turtleness going on here that you can't really push into this main base. Let's see how well he pushes in here. Runs his way forward. Look at the Stampede charging his way forward here, and he gets right on top of that army. There was no stopping it as he was able to get in there and just kind of move his way forward here. So bam, 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 immediately over one. overwhelms. And look at the Flay Dragon has been added to the mix here. So let's get scrambling over, take out any additional bases that might have been located here. The other difference is all of these blast nodes aren't going to be enough to help us out. Yes, it does a little bit of damage, but we are not going to be worried with the amount of Magmadons that we have added to the army. And there's the next big wave. Gaunts coming out here, getting grouped up here to help add in the DPS and snipe any of these flying fortresses going across and taking out, shambling, crippling our opponent's economy. We're going to be responding in kind, though. GameFriend moving across the map. Oh, we've got the Archangels. These will be able to help out quite a bit. They can be able to drop down, deal some serious AoE damage, but is it going to be enough? Can we get on the units that we need to and care about? Look at the amount of red coming from both sides. We're going to go for a surround here, coming from reinforcements from the base, coming from all our expansions here. But again, these Animancers have to stand still in order to channel their ability. It's not happening. There's the first slam down. Is it going to be enough? Did he get on what he wanted? It doesn't look like it, especially as all of the fiends clean up the ground. You've got some Sice left, and that's about it as the Flay Dragon takes over with the help of the Gaunts to clean up the air units. And we will see this swarm is sending its way on over to GameFriend's side of the map. This was his map choice, the one that he felt comfortable with going on to, and it is not enough as the Stampede tears through the base. GG is called. Very, very nice game there from both players here, but we do get to see that it goes to Garnath in the end there. Very nice. Very close series for a while there, but as the game went on longer and longer, we got to see more and more take over on the top side of the map. The mobility and the speed that we got to see of taking over all the camps went into all those extra expansions, went into all those high-tech stuff. The Magmadons made all the difference. I really do feel like that identification of going, you know, GameFriend thought that he had that window of opportunity to move in and take out his opponent, moving in with the same strategy that he did before and going through that third base, the pathway where the trees are, up into the main base, and it did not work out because the amount of higher tech units that were still there to defend was too much for his opponent. So he was in that scramble of going, okay, I'm going to go in, I'm going to try to set up and use my black hole abilities and really kind of lock in and do the same way to kind of shut you down. But it didn't work out as well because of the amount of Hellborns that were there, the amount of Magmadons that were there, that he was able to really get in and hold the line there with that Infernal army. So for the longest time, GameFriend wasn't able to identify the other expansions on the other side. I feel like if he had identified those, he would have gone and taken out the economy there instead of worrying about the main base and trying to go for the kill. But we'll see. Broken Crown is going to be our map of choice here. This is a best of 5 qualification match, so the winner does get to move on. But we're going back to the classics. The problem is, will it be enough to help us win? Let's see. Garnath, our Infernal player, currently up 2-1, spawning up here in the north. And his opponent currently down 1-2, looking to tie the series up. He is our blue Celestial player, GameFriend. So we see the early aggression coming out here. The Hexen. We're doing the 1 imp push with this. Where's the second one? There he is. Okay. Now, there's a couple builds you can go with this. You can go for the forward production facilities, but the way that this is looking, it's more likely going to be the Shroud Stone rush here. Oh, repositions. Interesting. All right, so reposition says, nope, we're not going to be able to do the Shroud Stone rush. It's too late. I got over there too late. You've already got your Argents out. I don't feel comfortable doing that. So he will fall back, send these guys on back home. We, of course, set up our meat farm. We've talked about how important it is for you helping to creep utilizing your structures as a Infernal player. But here's the move out. Oh, there's a leaf. You can heal up. Our Argent kind of scouting, making sure that there was nothing out and about. Look at this. He's double checking, right? You never know if there's going to be forward locations and expansions here. And now we can get some pot shots and start weakening some of these units. Oh, he's going to steal the health one from your opponent. This is nice because you can kind of get out there a little bit earlier. You have a little bit of a hardier force. You can kind of afford to do this here. And worst case, the brutes get too low, just pop them. There we go. And that gives us a little bit more ability to come in and maybe get us around on something. Meantime, we're building up, setting up. We, of course, have it lined up with that separation to kind of defend and protect ourselves. Here come our couple of fiends. Where's our... Oh, our first Kree's coming. That'll help out a bit. Power Bank is taking quite a lot of damage, though, and will get sniped off. Look at this little micro. Just boom, boom, stutter, step, killed. Very nice. Immediately rebuilds it there. A little bit of frustration, of course, for that, but, you know, that's kind of the power of the fiends. They're very fast, very mobile in these early stages. First Kree, though, is going to be rolling on over, help us take out this speed camp, get the extra resources that we need for it. Oh, nice dodge. In the meantime, we are seeing the tech up, the build up here, right? We're getting Conclave into a ritual chamber that allows us to be able to get to the Greater Shrine, right? Get to the next stage, tier 2 stuff. We are not worried about an expansion here. We're going for a heavy utilizing of our fighting force. We're going to spend all of our extra resources that we get from these camps into units right now. Eventually, we will be able to get an expansion, but it will not be for the time being. We want to be able to get a ritual chamber up. We want to be able to get more imps up and running and just get out on the map and creep out as much as possible, utilize those resources. The Kree count is going to be important. We've talked about this before. We didn't really see any Kree last game. It was just Argent style of play. The reason that you might go for the Kree is because you want to be able to get on top of the Gaunts. All right, if you can get on top of the Gaunts, you'll be in a good spot. Brutes do okay absorbing some of the Kree hits, but like that's kind of where your brain's at when you're a Celestial player and what units you're utilizing and where you want to utilize them best. But now we're starting to see the retaking up of the bases, all right, or at least of the towers as players are setting up and now feeling comfortable enough to get ready to take their expansions. Well, a free meat farm. We've seen this before. Just the supply cap that could happen from this. We'll see how well it works. Not going to happen. Garnath ready. 32 out of 47 supply. But that's also the next indication of where the army is. Can he roll in here? He's got to be careful. That's not as many as he wants. But will he get a couple of free hits? Will be able to actually slice and dice. That's what we're talking about. Get the hits. Get out. Another explosion here. Does a little bit of extra damage to the Gaunts. But you got to see what the Kree are trying to do. That little hit and run. Get in. Slice and dice. Get out. That's their goal. A couple Fiends going to get out. This is what we're talking about as an Infernal player. Send those Fiends out on the map. Try to take over some of the towers. Try to get some scouting information. Try to find out what's going on because right now he's in defensive mode. Spreads out. This is huge. You want to be able to set yourself up so those Kree come in. They're not going to just deal a bunch of damage. You're spread out, ready to go. So awesome job while you're sitting here and just kind of building up and setting up. Also lets you get a bunch of healing going. All right, back on over. We're continuing up. We've got our natural up and running. We're starting to get our link nodes set up here. We're taking over as many of the towers as possible, but this is the time. We've healed up. We're ready to go. We feel like this is our opportunity to make a nice timing attack hit. Now, if we were paying attention, we noticed that there was another tower that got taken, but let's see. Getting on the Gaunts already. That's huge. That's exactly what you want to get with that timing attack here. Look at this. He's catching all the Brutes there. The Brutes got separated out. Just that moving across the map there. Got all the Gaunts and got out. Now you're just fighting with some Brutes. You're not worried about that. That's perfectly fine. That's the type of snipes that you're looking for as a Celestial player. A couple of pot shots coming from the Argents. But both players do have their expansions. But now, GameFriend's still got to play back, play a little safe, make sure that he's okay, just kind of move out. The Brutes are very hardy, right? You got the hits off with the Gaunts. Now, can you utilize that and continue forward? So now he's going to roll around, see if he can take the different towers, because look at the amount of red towers that are out here, right? The Fiends make a big difference in this. They're going to fight over it. Kree's fighting the Fiends. We'll be able to get the win off in this trade here. But there's the big army coming in here. Again, you're trying to get on top of the Gaunts. Will he get there? He's getting quite a lot, actually, and continuing to kind of move his way around. But a lot of the Kree getting slice and dice of their own as the Brutes start slamming them down here. But will be able to get in and get out. You got to utilize their speed to help you out. A lot of them very, very low health, though, as the Fiends continue to get extra hits off. We'll get a little explosion for nothing, but that's okay. This is that kind of risky part of going for this strategy. Yes, you have the mobility. You've got all that speed. You can kind of move around. Now we've got not much mobility out here. We've got to be able to kind of build up and power up to get out on the map again. So we are teching up to our next stages here. Double Starforge, double Scythe production coming out so we can really get that mobility. So we're going all speed all the time as our Celestial player. How things looking for our Infernal player? What you might expect as we kind of build up here. We're still utilizing our production. We're going for our additional tech routes of this. The speed for the Gaunts is going to be huge. That's one of the things that we're going to need. So now, as there are a couple of available towers, we're going to fight over it. Is this enough, though? How well are the Scythes going to do here? Yeah, that's not really where you want to be fighting. You've got one Magmadon, but if you don't have any air control and all the Gaunts are dead, this army does not work the way that you want it to. There's the Magmadon, though, coming in. An Infest trying to catch him. Does not catch him there. And we will see the fight. We want to be able to last hit these. The double Scythe production, though, is going to get this snowball. So this is really smart plan from GameFriend, being able to say, hey, I see that I'm able to get your Gaunt's numbers low, then I'll be able to utilize all these Scythes. Third base is coming up here, though, for Garnath. Where's the additional production? There's the next Iron Vault coming out here, so he will kind of continue up with this higher tech route. But the army doesn't have the anti-air capacities that he really needs for this to be able to continue to be out and mobile on the map. So we do see additional destructions of the trees as he sets up here and tries to get into that next stage here and utilize the economy that he's kind of been banking up here. So we'll see as both players kind of are aware of the next stages and aware of the situation, go, okay, I see what you're doing. You're very mobile. You're very fast. You're going to be out and you're going to take over the map and take over all the towers. It's this kind of ebb and flow. I can't control them right now. I have to wait and build up for a while. But once I get my next scary force out, then I can get out on the map and start contesting and fighting against you. And I was like, do we have any more Fiends? I mean, this could be one of those moments, especially when you see, okay, you just took that watchtower. I see it on the mini-map. I can send Fiends. Yeah, just like that. I can send Fiends out now and go, you're over there. I have a tiny window where I can recapture these and prevent you from controlling them. And that's what we're going to see happening here. And now that goes, okay, let's kind of move out, take over my own towers. I need to get those resources now. Third base coming up here for our Celestial player. Building himself up. Going to be trying to get this fourth base as well. Yeah, the Scythe count's still getting pretty high. Are we continuing up with our productions for it? Yeah. All right, continuing up Scythe production. Oh, there we go. Increase the damage by 2. Very nice. We're going to really start building up our damage count here. And now he's going to be moving in, trying to find an angle. There is a Shroud Stone. This is a risky push in, right? If you don't know where the army is, you could be basically sacrificing your entire force to fight in a location that you don't want to be fighting in. And there's the infestation. Will he catch it? Catch the couple of them here. And he will be flying his way forward here and does actually just utilize his speed, trying to roll out. Magmadon trying to block the door here, trying to keep everybody in place. And it is doing a bit of damage, but they still roll their way on out. So that was that kind of panic mode of, oh, I could lose my whole army here. The amount of Gaunts that is built up is gotten even higher. So yes, you have a lot of Scythes, but is that enough? The ground will be shredded with the Magmadons. Your Kree are not going to be enough to be there. And then you're left with only an Air Force fighting against a lot of very fast Gaunts. Look at how fast these units are moving out and repositioning. We talked about that the Infernal player had to be in that waiting mode, that stage set up to kind of build up to the next stages. And now we're here, right? Now we can start moving in and trying to find the angle here. Where are the rest of the forces? It's all Scythe all the time. Let's try to get in for this Air Force And is it enough against all of the Gaunts? He needs the Kree to get over there and deal with them. We do see, of course, the Power Banks trying to help out here, but the Magmadons and the Gaunts are overwhelming this base. This expansion is getting cleaned up over here, so now he's got to get in here. Magmadons doing their best to stampede their way forward here as Gaunts holding the line, keeping all the Scythes at bay. This expansion's going down. Now 2 bases fell here, and the army falls back. How will our Celestial player respond to this? He's now in this position of saying, I cannot effectively move out. Shadow Flyers getting added to the army. These, of course, will be the Scourge, will be able to explode up and keep this enemy at bay here. But Scythes do get the extra damage. They're healing up here. Yeah, look at him trying to utilize it as both a scout as well as damage healer. But because we were able to take out that expansion, we've got ours up and running, no problem. We can be able to go and take out our own 4th base here. Continue to be able to, oh, nice, clear up the trees. Let's just let everybody in there, no problem. Oh, Shadow Flyers takes the hit. Oh my gosh, he got the flower, but it did not get absorbed in time. There was that little delay between clicking it to heal up and actually getting to heal up there. So got to be careful. Look, Magmadons are ready. Stampeding their way. Will he get it going? Gaunt's keeping this army at bay. It's this back and forth, just saying, I don't want to overcommit. I can't go too much. Look at this. He's ready. He's going to just start tearing up and clearing a path and say, I have this full avenue to get in here and attack my enemy. And the Kree want to roll in and take out the Gaunts. More Shadow Flyers. This is going to be a really tough position. This is going to be the deciding fight here. And look at this. We even see the Harbinger coming in, getting extra shroud on the ground, extra armor, extra health for these units. And is it enough as he kind of rolls his way forward here? Kree coming. We'll take out the Harbinger. But is that really what you need? Oh, the effigy comes in. We've got expansions coming down to try to continue to be in here. But we can't deal with this army at our front door. Got to make sure his army's in a good position, though. You want the Magmadons to be spread out. Gaunts in the back. Swing it over to the right. Take out this expansion. This is tough. This is a tough spot to be in as a Celestial player. A couple of Magmadons going to get caught, though, for free. Shadow Flyers coming in, taking some damage down on some of these Scythes, but it is still a danger spot, right? You have to just continue up with the Gaunts. You have to continue up. Oh my gosh, Gaunt's getting too far forward. What are you doing out there? The Magmadons aren't there. This is huge. This is exactly what you needed to be having happen. Catching a lot of these forces for free here. Is it enough? Was it enough, though? Scythes raining fire from above, trying their best. We do see, of course, our nodes coming out. Blast nodes dealing that splash damage, but I don't think it's enough. There's so many Magmadons alive, so many Gaunts alive here, trying to deal that damage. Get up here. Scythe recalling themselves back, flying backwards, trying to find the better angles to deal damage, but the Gaunts raining so much infested damage down on this base. Brutes that were still here, still left alive. We see the Magmadons over on the right-hand side getting caught in the corner, but they're just waiting for their opportunity to get in there. The Scythes now moving in. We do get to see more and more of this base start to fall as the Infernal host powers his way forward here. It's looking like Garnath is going to take the series 3-1 and move on to the Alpha Navigator Cups finals next week. GameFriend putting up a good fight here, holding the line the longest he could, and he's just kind of coming to terms with the fact that he has lost this match. GG is called, and we will see Garnath representing 3D Clan take the series there. Whew. What a game. What a game, everybody. That was awesome to be able to watch. I'd really like to be able to see how things worked out with Garnath. Really utilizing kind of his mobility there. I liked seeing the air units come in for GameFriend, but like the amount of like, all right, I see that you're going to just heavy tech, you're turtling up, utilizing your Scythe, then I will kind of turtle up and just kind of get my expansions, make sure they're safe, invest in a Shroud Stone or two, invest in the heavy Sim City to make sure your opponent can't utilize all that run by and the extra push that he had there. So very, very exciting game for Garnath. Congratulations to Garnath for being able to advance. And now we see, oh, what is this? Oh, okay. So we have all of our matches. Everybody has been decided. So let's pull it up so you guys can be able to see the final confirmation, if you will, of who all has made it to the event. So the way it works out is if you won an event, you got enough points, you qualified for the event. So that means Albino, Mixu, Percival, Bose, MSRM, Snockstar, Theory, and Captain Alex. A lot of these names you might be familiar with at other events have qualified for winning some of the weekly events or having enough points from the weekly events. Our last chance qualifier just wrapped up here. So let's take a look at all the players that were able to make it through and qualify for the main event coming out next week. So where's my overlay? There's the bracket. Bam. So Tibnu took out Cheese, FTW Cheese, qualified there. Don Ilya ended up taking out Elf 3-2. Kel wins 3-1 over GameFriend. Night Phoenix wins 3-1 over Lulis. Elf gets the win over Okram, qualifies. High ends up beating Cheese 3-1. Nicocrat wins over Lulis 3-0. And we just saw Garnath win over GameFriend 3-1.